Hello, hola, bonjour, ni hao, and welcome to today's Turn and Talk. My name is Jasmine Brann. I am the proud principal and lead learner of Shirley Chisholm Elementary, located in Washington, D.C., a school that I love. And today I am joined by the one and only Principal Sharifa Blackwell, coming to us from Indianapolis. And I am so excited for our opportunity to turn and talk today about a few critical topics facing us as school leaders, bilingual education, and so much more. So thanks for joining us and for this opportunity again, Principal Blackwell, for being with us and for speaking with us today in this conversation.
Yes.
So first and foremost, who is Sharifa Blackwell? Who are you?
Thank you so much for having me. This is a pleasure. I am originally from New York. I am a daughter, an aunt, a niece, and I am also a proud leader of a dual language school in Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a heart for kids, and so this is why I do this work. The dual language piece is an added bonus because I love language and culture, and particularly I think it's super important that people who look like us have that opportunity. So love kids, love being in this space, and love to be able to create opportunities for people and students who look like us.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Sharifa, tell us a little bit more about your leadership journey and how you got to be in the position of a school leader and principal.
Sure, yeah. So I taught Spanish for about 15 years. The majority of that was in high school, and loved it.
Me too.
Loved it.
I'm a
loved
former
it,
Spanish
loved
and French
it.
teacher.
Yep, loved it. And so for years, had the opportunity to work under strong leadership. Marcus Robinson was my mentor, and so when I graduated and went into teaching, he was my mentor. And for I think after my third year of teaching, he was like, "Hey Blackwell, you want to go into leadership?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." 6 years, this man said this to me at the end of every year, and I'll never forget it because it changed the trajectory of my life. And so after the 6th year, he was like, "Oh, hey, Columbia's got a program, Teachers College, a 2-year program. If you get in, we'll help support you." I'm like, "I'm not getting in there." Lo and behold, I got in.
Congrats.
And then that led to the journey of becoming a school leader. Essentially, the goal was to do what I was doing in my classroom and replicate it on a larger scale. And so it's been really beautiful to go from that kind of micro to macro, and impact more people and essentially impact more students.
Absolutely.
And so I think for me, Spanish was a gift. Even in high school, I loved high school and middle school. I loved it. I wasn't the big. I love school. I love learning because I didn't feel very connected and I didn't feel a lot of belonging. But in Spanish classes, I did. They were fun. The teachers were exciting. They were wild, and I had an opportunity to just enjoy and engage in a way that was very personal to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, well, we have that in common. I'm a former Spanish and French teacher at the high school level as well. And I have to say, Spanish was my favorite class all throughout high school. Like you said, for those same very reasons, right? It was exciting. It was my teacher was energetic, and I could make all these kind of connections with the world around me. And I really just thoroughly enjoyed that experience. So becoming a high school Spanish teacher was also partly because of the positive experience I had in school. And you talking about now just, zooming out from the classroom, the impact that you're able to have as a leader that is so powerful and impactful. Can you talk to us just a little bit more about how your values guide you as a leader?
Sure. I think first and foremost, I have a lot of energy, as you can see, and I have a love. I lead with love, right, and community. And so one of the things is I didn't have the experience of being seen, heard, and valued until I went to Teachers College, Columbia University, because I had 2 Black professors, and it changed the game for me. And so I think prior to that, I had one teacher in elementary, and that wasn't a great experience for me. And so when I did my graduate work and I had this experience, I thought, my God, what an opportunity, and how could I go out and extend the same grace and love and kindness that was given to me. And so my leadership style is much of leading with love. My leadership style is much of people being seen, heard, and valued. And my leadership style is removing barriers and obstacles so students and teachers can be successful, which would translate to the community being successful.
I love that. For our communities to be seen, heard, and valued, and to lead with love. That's our mantra here at our school, that it's a great day to love and learn. Es un gran día para amar y aprender. With love and kindness, it will just help to make our world a better place. And with so many things happening now in society that are devastating, we see and we hear of wars and so many challenges that are happening around us. We really got to spread that love and using language and culture to build mutual understanding and empathy and kindness is certainly one way to do that.
It costs nothing to be nice. It costs nothing to be kind.
And to smile.
And so why not have more of that?
That's right. And it's really impactful and powerful to see too the opportunity to do this from a young age, right? So sometimes I get asked the question like, oh, well, do you want to be a high school administrator? And I was an assistant principal at the high school level. But working in the elementary space is particularly special because of the foundation that we're giving to our students. At age, our school starts at pre-K 3.
Okay.
And so from the youngest learners, helping them to really understand, how do you navigate interpersonal relationships? How do you solve conflict right on the playground? Okay. How do you learn to share? How do you learn
uplift one another?
That's right. To motivate and cheer for someone else when they're winning, right? And how do you lose with grace sometimes?
Absolutely.
Like all of these lessons that happen, within the classroom, but also beyond the classroom are so powerful. And so that resonates with me when you talk about leading with love and leading with kindness and how that permeates in our society. There's so much that we have in common, Sharifa, and I'm so glad again that we're having this conversation and sharing with those who are interested to watch and learn with us. And one piece that we have in common in particular is our school being a dual language Spanish immersion school. And what we've noticed is there is definitely an underrepresentation of our Black students in these programs and access to bilingual education. Can you talk to us a little bit about why do you believe bilingual or multilingual education is important, and particularly for Black students?
I think you touched on it before. Teaching kids how to empathize, teaching kids how to cheer when they're not winning, teaching them how to be joyful and kind. I think for me, the love of language and the language and culture and being able to go abroad and study and use the language opened up a world for me. I remember the first time when I was going to Mexico and my grandmother who raised me was sick and I really didn't want to go. And my brother's like, you're going, because he had an opportunity to play basketball overseas. And so he had traveled and he was like, Sharifa, you need to experience this, right? You have to get outside of just our little bubble. And so by doing that, it just opened my eyes to the possibilities of understanding. The other thing it did for me is break down barriers of prejudices and understanding people's culture. At the end of the day, we all want to be loved. At the end of the day, we all want to be seen. At the end of the day, we all want to wake up and be successful. So why not do that through different languages and cultures? And so I think that's very important. And it's always funny when I start speaking Spanish, oh, you speak Spanish. Like they're surprised that a Black woman would speak Spanish. That's not from a Spanish-speaking country. And so I said, I love it. It's a gift. And anytime I'm able to use it and communicate with people in their mother tongue, or even people who have just learned the language, it brings me so much joy. And I want my kids to experience that. I want them to know that. I want them to know beyond the opportunities that you can make more money if you're bilingual, beyond the opportunities of traveling, but understanding the connection of people who speak that other language and the benefits that come with it.
Absolutely. And the relationships that you're able to foster. I appreciate how you touched on, they're the technical pieces of knowing another language, right? It increases your global competitiveness for being able to, operate in a global marketplace and compete for jobs and things of that nature, which is important. But also at a very humanistic level of just being able to connect with people, to develop friendships and relationships and rapport and that understanding are so impactful. And there's so much research out there.
Yeah.
Like we know that there are numerous benefits, cognitive benefits in terms of students' attendance and well-being and cognition.
Yeah.
The list goes on and on.
Both sides of the brain.
That's
all
right.
Of that,
Academic achievement for students in language programs and how they're outperforming their monolingual peers. And we want to have those benefits for all students, right? So we want to make language learning as inclusive and as welcoming for everybody. Everybody.
Not just a select few.
Not just a select few. It is in DC, in fact, Black students are the majority of our student demographics, of our student population, but only 4% of Black students are in our language programs.
It's very similar in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
When Dr. Mariama Shahid founded the school, and it's right in our community of Riverside, and so it's predominantly a Black neighborhood. We had about 88 to 90% attendance with African American students, Black students, and then over the years it dropped. And so there's a lot of work to be done to make sure families understand the benefit of it and understand that it can change the trajectory of their child's life. It can give them opportunities that they maybe never have thought of before. And at the end of the day, they deserve to be at the table.
That's right.
They deserve to be at the table. And so understanding why behind it is more of the work that we have to do, because you and I are living proof to that right now.
Absolutely.
And so I would love to see more people that look like us doing this work.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that there is need for more champions, like you're saying, to speak up, right? Like I think that one concrete idea, is for us to celebrate language in our Black community and the beauty across the diaspora of African, history and culture. Yeah. And there are so many languages, to celebrate and to recognize. It is very, very impactful for us as educators to use our platform and to use our voices, and as school leaders, especially to use our influence, to help families and communities understand the benefit of language learning and also the impact that it can have upon their children and their families. Well, this was a good conversation. We're just meeting for the first time. I feel like we've known each other for a very long time. We're kindred spirits in that way. And again, I just want to end by saying I thank you for your work in Indianapolis and all that you're doing to give the gift of language, to give the gift of education, as a whole to your students. And it is a pleasure meeting you today and the continued conversation that we'll have offline. But are there any closing remarks or thoughts that you want to share?
No, just really thankful for the opportunity. I am definitely a believer if this was supposed to happen. We didn't know it was supposed to happen, but it happened when it was supposed to happen. And so grateful, and just to continue the conversation and to bring others along as well.
That's right. That's right. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Says the African proverb. And so we're working together. We are excited for all that is to come on the behalf of our learners and our village. So thanks for joining us today for our Turn and Talk. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias.